Hello, hello. I am hoping that you can hear me all right. I'll see when I have a little eye up in the corner on my screen that tells me how many people are watching. And Tracy's here, and now it's counting. So I'm having my coffee, egg coffee as usual. So welcome to the weekly live stream. Hopefully, we'll get some questions today. I'm going to stay for as long as we have questions. But hi, Jim. No dusters for you today. It's amazing, isn't it? However, I thought I added a little topic today because I don't know, probably not so much you guys that are actually following me, but there are people that kind of pestering me with the, well, I'm not addicted, it's just a habit, or, what's the difference between emotional eating and addiction? And I just wanted to clear that out a little bit, and I thought it was a good thing for me to start with before you guys are dropping in. So if you're watching this on replay, you will see it. If you don't, then you have to watch it again from the beginning if you want to hear about my theories. Yeah, not this time. Good. It's excellent. So what I wanted to say on that is an addiction is something like addiction is associated with a negative outcome of you performing a certain behavior. And also, it's associated with something that we call tolerance. You probably heard me mention that before. Tolerance just means that you need more and more of this substance to feel the same reward or the same pleasure or whatever it is, to feel the same amount of positive emotions that you get from it as you did in the beginning, because your body is no longer responding as strongly to it. So if we are talking about food addiction, for example, if I'm eating, let's say, one Snickers bar, the very first time I do it, I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. I'm in heaven and this feels so great. And then I want it again because it felt so awesome. So then I go and get another one next day or 2 days later or whatever. Doesn't matter. I eat it and I'm like, this is really good. But I don't feel as ecstatic as I did the first time. And the reason for that is that there is a downregulation of dopamine receptors in the brain. So you don't get quite the same response, but it still feels good. And then you keep doing this behavior, and you're going to notice over time that now you're eating it and you're like, yeah, I like the taste, but it doesn't provide that pleasure and that high that you got in the beginning. That's when you start looking at eating two Snickers bars, or maybe three. Or once you've finished eating the Snickers bar, you want to eat cake and cookies and you want more, just to chase that amount of dopamine that will make you feel that good. So this is what an addiction is. So a bad habit, that's kind of where we start. You can have a bad habit, and the bad habit will develop into an addiction if you keep going with it for long enough. Now, having said that, um, I mean, I could probably have a bad habit of, like, I have a bad habit now, actually. It's by choice. I have a bad habit, though. I'm watching Netflix almost every evening. And it's by choice because I know that my partner likes doing it, and there's a way for us to spend some time together. Before I met him, I didn't even have a TV. I'm not into it. And I don't think I can be addicted to that. So whenever we're not doing it, or if I'm busy or I want to do something else, if I can't do it, if we're going away, yeah, my brain will have a little like, hang on, it's evening. It's time for us to kind of relax and watch Netflix. But then I'm like, yeah, but it's not really that good. Like, I am unable to get addicted to watching Netflix in the evening or TV or whatever you want to call it. So not everyone is going to be addicted to every bad habit that they have if it's something that provides a reward. But some people are more prone to certain things than others. And some people have, if there is a lot of trauma in their life, for example, they are more likely to want to, like, the brain is more geared towards multiple addictions, because then it's just like an escape and we just want to feel good all the time. So that's a little bit different with different people, but bad habits can be just bad habits, and if you stop doing them, it will feel a little bit uncomfortable, but it's not like, oh my god, this feels so bad. Bad habits are quite easy to break once you start focusing on them and just actually do something else. And if you stay abstinent for, let's say, a week, it feels okay. Like, yeah, it wasn't too bad. Whereas an addiction, you're getting withdrawal symptoms, you don't feel good, probably not mentally, maybe not physically. If it's sugar, for example, a lot of people have proper sugar withdrawals. They get shaky, they get hypoglycemia, they get headaches, they get all sorts of things. So these are things that are happening when you withdraw from drugs, and they can be drug specific or kind of general. Um, for me, I always had headaches eating sugar, so I couldn't really tell. And when it comes to emotional eating, I think that that's the same as a bad habit in terms of if you pick up on it and you start like allowing yourself to just feel your emotions rather than eat away your emotions. And you are at a stage, like a beginning stage, let's say, which most people aren't, to be fair. For most people, it's probably already developed into an addiction, but it can start, we will always start out as an emotional thing. If you catch it early, you can probably break it as easily as with a habit. It's just that emotional eating is something that we can reinforce for so long that it seems like most people who do it, they are also addicted. Some people are not, but they are addicted to avoiding those emotions. So they might be able to stop eating emotionally, but then they will start doing something else. So they will do an addiction swap. So if it's important to you to know what the difference is, that would be my definition of what the difference is. But does it really matter? I mean, just try it. You're gonna use the same technique anyway. So all that's gonna happen is if it's a bad habit, you're gonna succeed really quickly. Right? So that's the beauty of it. And speaking of which, I don't think I have put the link in here, but if I haven't, I shall do so. I was talking about it in my podcast episode on 2 days ago. I have a new free course that you can sign up for, and you can go to www.pimjohnson.com/FFF. If the link isn't in the description already, because I can't remember if I put it there or not, and I can't see it on the screen, then I will put it there after. And I will post about it and send some emails, but I just haven't had time. So still, we have had quite a few people sign up, so that's fun. Yeah, so I didn't even explain what that was about. But that course will basically teach you the tools that you need, like how to start identifying your cravings, how to sit through that, and then a little bit about how to motivate yourself to actually keep moving forward, etc. So that might be something that you want to do if you are having trouble with staying on your diet. All right. Yes, front row. I'm going front row. My boss has psoriasis and metabolic syndrome. His second hand has colon cancer. Tomorrow I talk to them about what I learned in the past 15 months. Have they said that they want to hear about it? In which case, that's amazing. Congratulations. This is why it's so powerful what we do. Like, I don't have words for it, but when we live into the person that is, has lost the weight or regained their health, or for me, like quit sugar, whatever it is, that's how we can motivate people. And then we can start talking about it, especially when they want to hear about it and not just force it onto other people. So I'm so freaking happy. And I hope that they will take your advice and at least try it out. Because when people are trying it out, it's like, yeah, can you do it for 30 days? Of course I can do it for 30 days. Cool, let's do that. See what results you're getting. And when they get results, then we'll just continue, which is amazing. Either I get fired, they ignore me, or they fix their health. Curious for that. Yeah. Okay. We'll see. Let me know how it goes, because that would be amazing if they actually fix their health. By the way, I tried reintroducing seasonal local fruit to ground myself to my ancestral location. Ate 3 apples, never had this strong of a pizza sugar craving since a year. Time to clean up the diet. That's very interesting. I last time I made a food shop, I haven't had apples in I don't know how long, but I bought some apples. And I've had a couple of those, still have one left, I think. And I only had 1 apple per day though. I didn't eat 3 in a go. And they were so good. I really, really enjoyed them. They were sweet, they were a little bit like tangy, and it just felt nice. And I didn't notice any bad side effects. And yeah, I thought it was a nice thing to do because it's autumn here, so it's apple season. And well, it's been apple season for a while. I think the apples are actually maturing here much earlier than they do like back in Sweden, where I come from. I'm close to finishing the Domination audiobook. Extremely interesting stuff. Some people can become moderators after being abstainers for 20 years. Extreme stuff. Yes, I keep saying this, and people keep doing it. Some people can become abstainers after, or moderators after being abstainers for 20 years. Extreme stuff. I think it doesn't have to take 20 years. I think you can learn how to be an abstainer from the get-go if that's what you want. So if you are thinking like, I don't want to quit because I don't want to give up sugar or pizza or whatever it might be for life, stop being so black and white in your thinking, because that's working against you. Just think about, what would it look like and how would it feel to you if you could just be a moderator? How would that feel like? I mean, I absolutely loved doing it from so many in so many ways. I loved doing that, and just always like, yeah, in 2 weeks I'm gonna have something, maybe a piece of chocolate or whatever that one might have been, and that would motivate me to stay on track. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing something really good for myself now, and I can still kind of eat it. I don't need to do that anymore, but it took my brain a few years to get there, and I think that, like, if you want to, it can go a lot quicker. You just need to be open for it, and probably ask for help as well to kind of get there quicker. But it's something that you can learn, and it's just a process, it's just a skill. It's nothing like, I don't know why no one is talking about it, and it annoys me because I feel like it's so disempowering for people to believe that they need to be abstinent 100% of the time, or they are gonna go on a binge again. It's just not useful. Being abstinent 99% of the time, or 95, and then use that as the motivation that you need to actually keep doing it, is so much better than just keep binging until you are going to be ready, because you're probably never going to be ready that way. Some people are ready, they want to quit, and they want to make the break 100%. For some people, that's a genuine, like, I want to do it for my health, and it's a genuine want. For other people, it's because they are scared of the binge that will 100% come if they are not 100% abstinent, in which case I don't think that is very useful, and it's usually backfiring when we use that as a reason. So yeah, it's entirely possible. Thanks for mentioning that. Observed my coworkers today, lots of bread in the morning, then coffee, then diet soda, then noodle lunch, then diet soda, then carb snack. Devil spiral. That's awful. What I see here is not, like, my brain is now trained. I mean, yeah, that's a lot of crap food, but what I see is like a diet completely devoid of any nutrients whatsoever. How how can we expect our brains or our bodies to function on any level if we're eating food that just has energy and nothing else in it? It's crazy. Hello, sorry I'm late. I just finished a video. Carnivore pancakes will post tomorrow. So who is this mysterious Facebook user? Carnivore pancakes. Could it be Terry? Or my guess would be Steph. And Terry, if it's you, I'm glad you're here. Not saying that I'm not glad that Steph is here, but Terry has not been feeling well, so I'm glad that she's back, if that's Terry. I tell them what I learned. They are free to ignore it or call me crazy, but I want them to know there is a non-drug solution. They are important to me. Oh, good. Good on you. I don't think you're gonna lose your job. Been carnivore 18 months. I'm a runner who lived on hard-boiled eggs and peanut butter. I crave peanut butter. What do you think of beta cystosterol supplements to abate the peanut butter cravings? Thanks. Right. So, do you want my honest answer on that? What I teach is not to try to get rid of the cravings. I mean, I try it if you want to. It's like it's the lazy way out. But if you ask yourself instead, like, why do I crave the peanut butter? Why does it feel like I really wanted to eat it? There's always an emotion that you're trying to escape. And in this case, it might just be the craving. But if you can teach yourself just how to acknowledge and accept that you're having the craving and then sit through that craving, you're going to be fine with having the craving. You don't need to respond to it. I mean, it is as easy as that. It's not more complicated. Yeah, it might be a bit uncomfortable to do. And, in the beginning, it's like, oh, I really don't want to do that. It's easier to just take a supplement to get rid of the cravings. And if you want to try it, go for it. But I always recommend that you learn how to process your emotions. And with this, I mean cravings. Process those cravings and just sit through them. Because that way you're going to be bulletproof. It doesn't matter if you don't have any supplements. It doesn't matter if you crave something. You're going to be fine because you already know how to do that. So that's always going to be my answer to that. How do you sit through cravings if you're a smoker and have a pack of cigs and a lighter next to you? The craving doesn't go away, so I would either have one 20-hour craving or have to throw that stuff out. You don't have to sit for 20 hours. You can just sit for a bit. And then you allow yourself to maybe go and distract yourself, or you actually have a smoke or whatever. The important part here is that you are practicing sitting through the craving for a period of time. You decide how long. If you're just starting out, maybe 90 seconds. Set an alarm. 90 seconds. This is how long I'm going to sit with this craving. And then you go and do whatever you need to do. And then you keep doing that. And you might decide that, okay, so I have 20 hours a day. I'm going to do it once an hour or once every other hour or whatever. And you just sit through those cravings. What that will do for you is that it will teach you the skill of sitting through those cravings. So every time you have a craving, you are going to trigger a different pathway. It's kind of like taking a side track where rather than smoking, you're automatically going to start and just feel the craving and then not react to it. That's just how you do it. I mean, it's a bit rough maybe to have to feel the cravings for 20 hours per day. But if you can do it, this is going to be really quick, probably. If you, let's say that you committed to doing this 20 times per day, just for like a couple of minutes each time, you will get there very quickly because the brain, it needs a little bit of time to process. That is true. But also every single time you do it, every single repetition that you do, you just strengthen this new pathway. So every reps is going to count and it's going to help you. Miss Hippie, hello. Sorry I'm late. Just finished making a video of carnivore pancakes. Ah, here we go. It's Carnivore Hippie doing pancakes on Facebook, apparently. So now I know who you are. Very good. You're on YouTube as well. Hello, new to your channel. I've been carnivore for almost 5 months and it's still difficult to stop overeating. Love to eat until I'm full. And of course, I've gained weight. Yeah, okay. Welcome to the channel. That's all I have to say. So it doesn't sound like you have a problem with actually staying on the diet, which is the great news. So I will give you the same advice, and if you want, just sign up for my free course that will teach you how to kind of approach those urges. I use the term cravings, but it's the same thing as urges. So when you have this urge to continue to overeat, what you do is that you just do everything that I talk about in that course. It's very simple, and that's I'm teaching you how to sit through the cravings in there, and that's what you need to do. You just need to allow yourself to feel that and just sit through it, and then you stop. There are a few other things that I do with my clients who are overeaters. We kind of use like what do you call it, like a hunger scale. We have a look at like how much are they eating, how full are they when they stop eating, etc. And that can be a kind of a useful tool to use. So you can maybe look into that as well and just decide that, okay, when have I had enough food? How full do I want to feel when I've had enough food? And then at that point, you just stop and allow yourself to feel those urges to continue eating. Also, they tried to block dopamine receptors in rat brains to stop them from being addicted. All the rats died because they had no dopamine response for getting food and they starved. Yeah, that's how it goes. Dopamine is essential for life as long as you know how to moderate it. Yeah, so this is the case. Dopamine drives all motivation that we have. So when we are downregulating our receptors, we are not as motivated to do anything else. That's why someone who's addicted to anything, whether that be food or drugs or whatever, all we think about is how to get our next fix, because that's the only thing that's going to make us feel good. Anything that has to do with achievement or other pleasures in life. I mean, I've always been a person who likes to be out in nature, and I think I need to thank my mom for that, because she used to walk her dog in the woods every day when I was a kid growing up. So I was always out in the woods, and I just loved it. And when I grew up and when I became addicted to sugar, what happens is that I still kind of loved it when I was out, but there was no motivation for me to go out because it would never give me the same amount of dopamine that um, eating, sugar would do, ever. It just wouldn't happen. And so when we are addicted, nothing that we used to enjoy feels as enjoyable anymore. And we just can't be bothered doing a lot of things. I mean, I'm an introvert anyway, so I'm kind of naturally wired towards not wanting to go and do a lot of social stuff. And then when you're adding addiction on top of that, it's like I can't even be bothered to go and do other stuff. I always used to do everything like what I like doing is I like experiencing things. So I like skiing, I like doing all sorts of sports, having experiences. I don't like to go and look at architecture or lay on the beach for hours. Like that is boring to me. My brain wants to experience stuff. I'm a person, I like to use my body to do things. That's how I naturally enjoy life. But even that started to go away with time because I was like, well, it's much easier and much more pleasurable to just lay on the sofa and eat, brownies or whatever. So it's really important that we have a well-functioning dopamine system to be able to motivate ourselves to do life and enjoy life. In Dopamine Nation, what did they do during the 20 years, or was it just passage of time? Was the first thing I saw, if you need to eat 500 grams of wheat, it's probably because no nutrition in it. Gluten be thy downfall. Yeah, well, Jesus, that's a lot of wheat, isn't it? Yep, it was you. Switched from Facebook to YouTube, so I couldn't even guess who it was. But thanks for being here, Patricia. Mostly a mix of rehab and different addictions. Once they were sober for many, many years and found a purpose in life, it got less interesting to be drunk on benzo, weed, etc. Yeah. A guy built his own fat machine because, I think I've listened to this book. I definitely have a fat machine because it spiked his dopamine hit. He threw it away and the next day gathered it out of the garbage and rebuilt it. Yeah, and he was doing that for years, which was kind of funny. I like that she was talking about that. It was kind of funny. Once he had meaning in his life with wife and daughter, he stopped craving it. Hello, lovely. How are you doing? Okay, thanks for the smoke information. It is my last vice. Yeah. Everyone has something. And I think I've been talking about this for a while now that I've been working on my procrastination and it is not bad, but it's not perfect. And there's always something. And I think as soon as I'm better with that, there's always a version of that. Now I am I'm pretty good at doing what I say that I'm gonna do. But I found a different way of screwing that up, which is rather than sticking with my morning routine that I have for a reason, which is just setting me up for a really good day, I tend to want to check. You guys know that we're doing this gut brain healing community, and we're three people. It's me, Annabelle, and Scott, and we are always like Scott is in America, Annabelle is in the UK, and I'm in New Zealand. So the time when the three of us are awake at the same time is pretty much early morning for me. So I have this obsession with like checking that, okay, what if they want something? I need to talk to them. I need to check that everything's okay. And if everything is all right, then it's fine. I just go back to doing my morning routine. But when there is something, even if it's not urgent, I feel like this I feel compelled, or like almost like it's compulsive almost for me to go and fix it because I know that if I don't, I'm a person, I just do things straight away because if I don't, I know that I might forget about them. So I just like getting things out of the way so that I can forget about it. And that can fuck up my day. So I need to work out a way for me to manage my and protect my time in the morning so that I can have a good day. And I'm not really sure how to work this out with these guys yet. I guess we will have to just decide on certain days when we actually do meet or whatever, or a different way where they can actually let me know if something is really urgent, then that's fine. But otherwise, I'm better off just not even looking at it because I know that I'm going to respond to the messages and I'm going to go and fix whatever it is that needs fixing in the email list or whatever. And then I'm just going to go and do that. And that doesn't need doing at 6 in the morning. It can wait until I have time later in the afternoon. Is there any way, in your opinion, to lock dopamine serotonin effects to healthy habits, like training the brain to learn to love social, useful events? Yeah. How do I answer this quickly? So, absolutely, you can do that. So, like social events, they won't necessarily give you as much dopamine. There would probably more be the serotonin part, which is fine. But if you want to kind of associate that with the dopamine part, you could make it rewarding in some other way. I'm trying to think about some way that you could do that. This is really hard for me as an introvert. I'm like, I don't want to do that. It's not rewarding to me. So if you were going there, how could you look at it? Like, how is that a reward? Like, what do you get out of it? I'm going to give you another example because I can't think of something now and I don't want to take 20 minutes to try and figure it out while you guys are sitting there waiting and wondering what the heck is going on in my brain. But so when I'm doing like, if I'm talking about the procrastination, for example, I'm using Google Calendar because I find it very easy and I'm putting all the tasks that I need to do on there. And I'm also putting time slots to protect my free time. Like every day, I have a 2-hour time slot where I walk the dogs and I have some lunch or something. And then I might just block off the evening if I want to or not. But I put everything on there and I use sort of color coding for everything that is kind of general. I just have one color. Then when I'm coaching, like my clients on coaching course or whatever, that has a different color. And then when I'm going on interviews, that has a different color. So I'm using a little bit of colors there. But as soon as one task is done, what I do is that I change that color to gray. And it's very rewarding for my brain to see a whole day being gray. It's like, yes, I did all the tasks. And you can do the same thing if you're using list and you're just ticking it off. It's very rewarding, and that will give you a little bit of a dopamine hit. So you could use something like that to teach yourself that going to like a social or useful event is something really good. So if we're thinking about a useful event, that might be something, let's say a skill that I want to learn, then I can just start thinking about it, like motivate myself, like why is it that I want to go there? And think about all the benefits that I'm going to get from having that skill, for example. That might not give you a lot of dopamine straight away, but it will give you a little bit. And one thing that, like, if you're trying to achieve things, something that will be really motivating long term. So let's say that you're doing this event because you want to um, learn a skill, whatever that skill might be. Maybe for building a business or for um, learning to play an instrument, and you want to be a musician of some kind, or whatever it might be. When you can set little goals, like when I hit these goals, I have achieved, like it's a milestone. I've got some part of the way. That will also be like in the same way, almost like a tick. You can tick it off. You're like, yes, I did that. And when you see that there's progress and you keep hitting these milestones, you're going to feel good about it. So when you're then thinking about going to this social event or the useful event, and you're like, this is just part of what I need to do to get to take that thing off, that will give you a little bit of a dopamine hit. So that might help. I was asking complicated questions today. I have to think. I'm glad I'm not in brain fog today. Like training the same limbic pathways, not on addiction, but on healthy events. Yeah. I mean, that's what I do. I help people quit carbs or, recover from food addiction. But what we're really doing, like what I put in the free course, is literally everything that they do in terms of that. That's all they need to do. It's such a small part of it. The main part of what we're working on in the group for 12 weeks, or if you're working one-on-one with me for 6 months, the main part is the mindset training and think differently and learn how to think about what you're doing in a way that is useful to you. Because even if you know how to do it, if you just like, oh, this is so uncomfortable, I hate doing this, I shouldn't have to do this is unfair, why doesn't everyone has to do it, I just want to eat like everyone else. If you're going to have that mindset, you're never going to succeed. You can know this tool, you can know how to sit through the cravings perfectly, but you're not going to do it because you're not going to feel like you should have to do it. So we need to work on the mindset, and that's kind of the key. It's all about what's up here. So yeah, I'm helping people like stop overeating or whatever it is for them. And they think that it's all about the process of how to do that, but I'm giving that away for free in my free training. The problem is that most people are not going to stick with it if they try to do it on their own. And there is no way that I could do that, because you need to be coached on it. You need to have someone helping you through that. A very, very few people in the world will be able to do that on their own. It's almost impossible when it's an addiction. I think you need to have that support in some way. You can try to do it with a friend, like do it together, but you can't coach each other on the mindset. So as soon as something happens, and I'm going to mention this because it came to my attention, I have two clients. So if my clients, they want like an accountability partner or someone to buddy up with that they can talk to and kind of go through the program together, I'll make that connection. And that's all I do. I make the connection. They take care of everything else that they want to do. And my thinking with this was that they're going through the same program. They can discuss the program. They can discuss what's happening. This is going to be great. And then it was great until one of them was struggling a little bit, and the other one just bought into that straight away. Oh yeah. And she came to the one-on-one call with me because in my group you have 6 one-on-one calls, and she said, "Hey, this person was is having a big struggle right now, and therefore I am having it as well." So she got into, oh well, if she can't do it, then I can't do it. I mean that kind of mindset is never going to help you. So now I'm like, I still want people to be able to do that, but I need to make sure that they know that if you're struggling, what you should be discussing with each other is how to use this program to move forward, how to look for the solutions and not sit and just wallow in, oh yeah, this happened and I couldn't do that and it was so hard. That's not useful. And that just gets the other person who has to listen to it to feel really depressed about it. And oh, well, if they can't do it, I've been looking at them and they've been doing so well. If they can't do it, I certainly can't. And then both of you are going to be stuck in this shit show. That's not useful at all. So I just told her, like, talk to the other person. What you're going to talk about, you can say, like, yeah, I fell off, this happened. And then you look for solutions. You do not go and just like feel sorry for yourself and whatever. I mean, I don't know exactly what they were talking about, but she just absorbed that energy straight away and used that as an excuse to not do as well as she had been doing. And that's not a good way to do this together with someone else. So if you're trying to do this on your own and you're trying to do it with a friend, really, really think about the solutions. Be solutions focused and find those solutions and how to think better thoughts rather than going to feeling sorry for yourself and the world is so unfair because you can't eat cake. Walk 20 minutes after my second meal to digest better while I'm washing here. Wow, there you go. Nice. What did you eat? You're always making yummy shit. I'm like, oh, that makes me hungry. Do you believe meaning, purpose in one's life can protect from cravings, addiction, or is it just another substitute and it will fall apart once the relationship would break apart? What relationship would break apart? What do you mean with that? Um, Purpose, yeah, absolutely. If you don't have any purpose, why would you even want to try quitting? So let's say that you have a food addiction. This is actually part of the fourth lesson in my free course. I'm talking about like the future and how important it is that we are future focused, because the thing is, if you never think about the future, which is actually the majority of the adults on this planet, they don't really, or on this planet, I say, I don't know that this was in America. So let's say in America, they don't think about the future other than maybe like, I'm going to go on a holiday or vacation in 3 months or whatever. But other than that, they don't really think about the future. And this is kind of logic in my mind. But having said that, scientists, they need to do experiments and research things to be able to claim them. But what they have seen when they actually look at people who do think about their future, they make better decisions, like better for themselves, more thought through decisions. And they improve their psychological well being. They are kinder and more generous. And they are a lot more motivated to achieve their goals. And that's not anything strange to me, because if you don't ever think about the future, if you don't have an idea about where you want to go in life, how on earth are you going to motivate yourself to quit? Because it feels really good to sit there and eat Oreos and ice cream. It feels really good in the moment. That's why we do it. So if you have no motivation, like this, well, tomorrow is just going to look like today. The only good thing that I have in my life is to eat. There's no way that you're going to quit. That's why I included it in the course. To try and give a little bit of motivation, like how you can find this motivation to actually do it. So if you never think about that, then you're not going to be able to do it. So yeah, I think it's crucial that you I mean, you don't have to believe that you have a specific meaning in life, but at least if you have a purpose or something that you're striving towards, whatever that is, that's going to help you to get out of addictions. And yes, if it's someone who has had addictions before but not anymore, and you feel like to live my purpose or to live the life that I want to, excuse me, I cannot go back and be addicted to stuff, then that's not going to be like on the table. Because if you focus on the future, you're going to be focused on doing the things that are going to help you get to that future that you want. In terms of intro extrovert, do you believe those types are based on genetics, upbringing, or could we theoretically work on that, like learning how to be more outgoing or whatever? Yeah, I think you can learn that. Absolutely. I mean, I was super shy as a kid, but I had to get over that because I wanted to I wanted to work as a personal trainer and like a group training instructor. I wanted to help people. So I needed to learn to speak to people. I still think that I'm awkward. That's one of my not so good beliefs that I have. Like I'm not really good at small talk. I just like to get to the juicy stuff straight away. I want to talk about something that means something that will change people's lives. I'm not interested in sitting and small talking with someone about the weather. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. I'm absolutely interested in sitting having a laugh or having a deep conversation, but not that just the fluff that most people engage in. I'm like, oh, I just zone out and I don't want to be there. I'm like, what the fuck is the point of this? I'm wasting my time. A lot of useful, not so useful thoughts that I'm having about it. But I absolutely think that you can learn that. I mean, I've learned it to some degree. Um, like when I was super shy, I didn't like to be on. I still don't really want to watch my videos. I don't really want to watch pictures of me. It still makes me a little bit uncomfortable, but I'm okay doing it. And I'm just like, well, I'm just a person. You guys can think whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. So I'm training myself to not really care about that. And I also, something that I started doing many years ago was that I would just go up to people and I would, if there was ever like I couldn't find my way or whatever, I would just go to the closest person and force myself to ask them for the way or whatever, just to train my nervous system to not be scared of that. So there are absolutely ways of doing that if you want to, but I think that is it genetic? I don't know. I'm not convinced that it is, but I think your upbringing absolutely plays a big role in that. My mom is an introvert as well. My dad is an extrovert. I was mommy's kid for sure. My sister is more extroverted than me, and she and my dad were like one camp, and me and my mom were one. My dad used to have lots of, in summer, he used to have a lot of barbecues, and my dad was from South America, so their culture is like we just invite everyone and we're having a big party, and there is lots of cheek kissing and all of that things that makes me feel really awkward and just want to run away. I cannot identify with that at all, and I always hated it, even though I was exposed to it as a kid. I never liked it. And my mom was kind of playing along, but I don't think she really likes it. She's just like approaching it from a more mature standpoint, like being an adult and shit. And I was not. Um, so my dad would always invite us to his barbecues, and I'm like, who's gonna be there? If it was like one or two people, that was fine. And my sister would always go, doesn't matter. And he would always say, oh, it's just these two. And then there would be more people there. So he would always trick me to come there. But he was never, he stopped inviting me for like the barbecues when there was a lot of people there. So yeah, it's just completely different. And I mean, I was exposed to both sides, but I guess I was just identifying with my mum more or whatever. I don't know. My sister is opposite, but we're opposite in all sort of ways, pretty much. So that's not surprising to me. Uh, maybe set up a group on WeChat chat or WhatsApp with Scott and Annabelle. Then, if urgent message, they can send it there. I do that with my China and Belarus offices. Yeah, we already have chats in place, but it's not really used for urgent stuff. Um, you know what, Trace? This is kind of funny because even if I have an idea and I'm like, okay, if something needs to be done, you can post it here and I will check that. And then no one's using that at all, and it just continues in the other chat that we have anyway. Anyhow, hi, I'm new here. Welcome to the channel. It's good to have you here. And if you have any questions, just ask them. As you can see, I'm answering all the questions. Like a logbook used in weight training. Try for progression each time you do your healthier activities and log it. Then re-look at it each time to build upon it for next interval. Like in the book, if a relationship can protect from detriments or if it will break apart once you get FE, for example, a divorce. Okay, yeah, so yeah, I don't like building, a new habit on something external. It needs to be something within you, like internal motivation versus external motivation. External motivation is very um, fragile, maybe we should say, because we can't rely on external motivation all the time. So if that breaks apart, as you say, then everything's going to go to pieces. So if you need to, like in the beginning when you are breaking a habit, a bad habit, or an addiction or whatever, if you are using a relationship as the motivation, that is fine, but over time, develop a new motivation that is intrinsic, as in internal, so that you always have that to fall back on and don't need the relationship to be good for that to happen. Ha ha ha, was simple today. My last ribeye steak until the next sale. Lol. Yeah, that's I always get all the meat on sale. And then I'm kind of like suffering through if they don't have sale on, like, let's say, I like eating rump steak most of the time or picanha. And if they don't have it for a very long period of time and I'm running out of it, I'm starting to get like, oh, I don't want to pay that much for rump. So I'm always filling my freezer up with, whatever they have on sale. And it's obviously depending on when, whatever cycles they work through. So it's just part of the year when they have a lot of lamb on sale, for example. So it's kind of funny. I do that as well because we can actually get, it's kind of interesting. We can actually get meat fairly cheaply here, but the eggs are just insane. They are almost, unless you can buy barn eggs slightly cheaper, but free range eggs, they're pretty much $1 each, which is maybe 70 cents, American cents each. So yeah, that's a little bit crazy. No small talk and no singing. Yep, you got it. No small talk and no singing. You can sing if it's quietly, and not when I'm trying to talk, because that's annoying. I hate small talk. If the content doesn't matter, what's the point as well? Yeah, okay, you and I will get along well. We can have conversations or just like be quiet together, which I'm completely happy with. I'm less introverted after being carnivore. That's interesting. What happened? If I host a party, I'm the clown of the party, but other people party, I will sit in the corner. Yeah, I guess it's the same. Like, it's funny because I'm in this like, it's a group of us. We're all like coaches, and we meet every week. And we're supposed to be 10 people in that group, but usually we're about 5 or 6. And as coaches, I wouldn't say most coaches are, but we train ourselves to be less introverted because obviously you need to be able to kind of lead the conversation. I can't coach people and just let them have, like, run loose and do whatever they want in the session. But when I'm in there, it's like I'm with 5 or 6 other people who all want to talk and who all want to coach each other. So I'm just like, just gonna sit here and be quiet. because it doesn't matter. And sometimes I feel like, yeah, I have something good to say, and then it's just like three other people want to talk, and I'm like, what's the point? I'm just gonna be quiet. Um, but if it's like me hosting something, I'm not shy. I'm there to help people. So my focus is just different. It's not on me. But if I'm in a group with other people and they already get help, well, they don't necessarily need to hear my version. And it's too much trouble for me to break in and like, hey, I want to talk. Because it doesn't matter. It's not about me. But when I'm in a group with other people, and I imagine it's the same for you, if you're hosting the party, you're like, this is going to be a really great party. So I'm doing this for them. And then I'm going to be the clown, and it's all good. You can come and clown at my parties. Hi, I just started one of your courses and was wondering whether you had experience with adults with ADHD and how does that affect their addiction to carbs? Um, so I have absolutely had clients who have ADHD. Most of them will let me know, but you notice when people have it. And what we do is that we work a lot on focus. Like we're dialing it down a lot so that it's not like you have to focus on all of these things. It's just like this is what we focus on right now. And that might just be to allow yourself to feel those cravings and sit through the cravings. That might be where we're starting. And also, we always work on the mindset to some degree. And then when you know how to do that, we want to work on the mindset, but we don't work on all different things. We try to dial it down to as few things as possible because an ADHD brain will have a billion thoughts, probably all at once. And when I talk to such clients, it's like it's really hard to get them to shut up because it's like, and this happened, and that happened, and then that, and they just follow every thread all over the place. So we just like pull it back. What's the most important thing here? And we just focus on that one important thing. And the thing is that when you can do that, you don't really have to. So if you can focus on just making it happen and learning this skill so that it becomes automatic, it doesn't matter if you have ADHD because if it's something happening on autopilot, you're going to keep doing it on autopilot most of the time. So it's just a matter of bringing yourself back so that you can focus on it and then learn that skill, and then you will usually be fine. So, in terms of like, my job is a little bit harder because I need to kind of like, stop. I need to bring it back to be a little bit more centered and focused. But in terms of retraining your brain, it's entirely possible, and we just need to do it in a little bit, I say different way, in a more focused way than maybe someone who doesn't have ADHD who tend to just focus better and they might be able to focus on five things. Maybe someone with ADHD is just like keep reminding yourself it's just one thing for now, or maybe two, and that's all we're doing. And have that reminder. And sometimes you need to put on post-it notes or set reminders on your phone or whatever. Just do it. Whatever way you need to remind yourself of what it is that you need to do, that's what you need to do. I hope that helps. Right. So we have another 7 minutes. Do we have any more questions? Otherwise, I'm going to hop off. And yeah, this was fun. You had some good questions today and you challenged my brain. Thank you, Bazoo. And also let me know what's happening at work because I'm really, really interested. And it would be so great to hear like a success story about what's happening to your boss and his second. That would be sweet. So, with that said, then, thank you for being here. As always, awesome to answer your questions, and I think you had some really good ones today. Yeah, boss told me let's talk tomorrow. So at least he's kind of like interested in hearing what you have to say. Whether he's going to do it or not, I guess we shall see. So thank you so much. You have a really good day. I'm going to go and check that the link is in the description for those of you who want to sign up for the free course, because I can't remember, so I better do that. And I will see you again next week. Take care. Bye.